Inspired by the work of Pina Bausch, Aṁṁonia explores the hidden power dynamics within society. The film follows two cleaners who, through the possessions they find in a messy hotel suite, begin to imagine and embody the lives of the guests. The cleaners are played by Emma Farnell-Watson and Kieran. They both wear navy blue trousers, white trainers, and a grey t-shirt. Emma is white British with grey-green eyes and wears her brown hair in a bob. Kieran is British-born Chinese with dark eyes and black hair, which he wears in a shaggy mullet. Initially, he wears a navy blue jacket over his t-shirt and a matching baseball cap, but throws his jacket and cap aside as they start to explore more of the hotel suite. Emma and Kieran are also the choreographers of the piece. The creatives describe the movement as reflecting how objects shape character, power, and ways of moving. Using an eclectic mix of dance styles, the movements of the performers are all fully embodied and are driven by deep inner intentions. The complex relationship between the two protagonists switches deftly from moments of playfulness and joy to moments of rejection and isolation. There is only one location for the film, a luxury hotel. We first meet Emma and Kieran in the hotel's grand foyer, which has marble pillars. The majority of the action takes place in a hotel suite which also has a mezzanine level. The suite has mahogany wood-panelled walls, wooden floors, large bay windows and high ceilings. It's a vast, brightly lit space. Directed by Joe Connor, the creatives describe the piece as delving into class boundaries and the unseen structures that confine people, using dance to express what's often hidden from view. SADLER'S digital stage. Two cleaners, Kieran and Emma, are in the grand entrance of a luxury hotel. Kieran sorts through a cart of cleaning products. Emma joins him, and they push the cart towards one of the luxury hotel suites. They enter the suite and take in the vast, high-ceilinged room. Bright sunlight streams in through the large bay windows, and the wooden floor is strewn with clothes. A montage of them cleaning. They tidy, sweep, and dust efficiently. On hands and knees, Kieran cleans the bathroom floor. On the ground floor, Emma's captivated by a ring lying amongst some jewelry on a table. She picks it up and stares at its large yellow stone, turning it to watch it glint in the light. With a furtive glance behind her, Emma carefully slips the ring onto her finger and admires it. On the mezzanine level, Kieran notices an expensive-looking silver watch. He puts it on, stares down at it, and then shakes his arm, feeling the weight of the watch on his wrist. Kieran glances down at Emma, then shrugs his shoulders back and glides towards the staircase. Kieran pauses on the landing and sees Emma spin, her arm curved around her head as she smiles up at the diamond ring. Undulating his hips and shuffling from side to side, Kieran admires the watch as he moves along the landing. He rushes down to the ground floor and joins Emma. They stand facing each other. They try and peer at each other's found treasure, but dodge their partner, arching away from them. Kieran playfully grabs Emma's wrist, but she twirls him around and then pulls him in towards her. They start to tango, charging gracefully across the room. Emma spins under Kieran's arm and pulls him into her. He grabs her torso and dips her backwards. Emma sweeps her arms around Kieran's torso. He slides backwards through them, and they both turn to face us. With cheeky grins, they step towards us, sweeping clawed hands from side to side. Emma playfully pumps her bottom up and down as Kieran mirrors the movement with his hand. She mimes holding a cigarette to her lips, and he mimes lighting it. They both thrust alternate shoulders up and down as they slowly spin to the side, then arch back as their arms sweep upwards. Emma rushes over to a moss green tartan tweed jacket lying on the floor. She slides it on and then strolls over to Kieran. He beams as he feels the jacket's material and then slides one sleeve off Emma's shoulder. Now standing behind her, he slips his arm into the jacket, inverting the sleeve so that the lining shows. His sleeved arm reaches for her, but she blocks him, grabbing his wrist and shoving it away from her. Holding her wrist, Kieran lifts his arm over their heads, forcing Emma out of the jacket. Emma finds a bright yellow coat and puts it on just as Kieran finds a bright pink coat. Now both wearing the coats, they dance together with abandon. They swing their arms through the air, sweeping the tails of their coats behind them as they spin and twirl around each other. They flop back onto a bed, rocking backwards and forwards as Kieran pushes Emma's head into the mattress. Then they both sit upright on either side of the bed. They clamber round to the foot of the bed, roll sideways and rise up to stand, with Emma on the bed and Kieran on the floor. With torsos hunched forwards, they bounce, reach an arm out to the side, and then bend at the elbow with a jagged, glitching motion. Emma pulls off Kieran's coat and strides towards us. She slowly peels off her coat, dropping it on the floor behind her. Standing directly behind her with his head hidden from view, Kieran flexes his biceps. With a knowing smile, Emma takes a deep breath, and Kieran moves his arms in unison. Emma glances down just as Kieran raises his wrist, as though checking the time. They arch their torsos out to opposite sides and then return to center. They complete a complex series of arm movements, with them wrapping their arms around each other, grabbing wrists and elbows, and creating geometric shapes and angles. At one point, Emma places a cigarette in her mouth and winks, but Kieran's hand snatches it away. Emma breaks free from the formation. Kieran kneels down. Emma places her knee on his back and leans into him as she circles her arm overhead. She walks towards us. Kieran goes to grab her, but she sinks out of view. Bewildered, Kieran looks at his empty arms as though she's disappeared. Suddenly, he sinks out of view and Emma appears behind. They repeat this several times. They stare at us. Emma pushes Kieran backwards and steps towards us. Then he pushes her backwards and steps to us. They hug tightly. Slowly, they pull apart and look at the ring and the watch, which they're still wearing. Emma pulls off the ring and places it in the palm of her hand. Kieran carefully rests the watch on her palm too. Emma places the items on a table and then joins Kieran, who's making the bed. Holding either side of a crisp white duvet, they raise it into the air and then place the duvet down on the bed. The pair plump the pillows and carefully place decorative cushions. Walking to the foot of the bed, they lock eyes for a moment and then slump on the end of the bed, staring into the distance. Leaving the duo in the room, we slowly start to shift backwards out of the hotel room and down a long wood-panelled corridor. Emma and Kieran flop back onto the bed as we continue to back away from them. The corridor is engulfed in darkness and the hotel room drifts further out of sight. We continue to move backwards and now pass through a futuristic waiting room lit with a cold blue light. There are two glowing panels of buttons on metallic walls and chairs lining the edges. We continue to move backwards. The waiting room is encased in a glowing metallic box floating in the vast blackness of space. It grows smaller and smaller as we drift further away. Aṁṁonia, a film by Joe Connor, starring Emma Farnell-Watson and Kieran Lai.